We are on Life Insurance, Section 3, the Application, Underwriting, and Policy Delivery. The application is the main source of underwriting. It must be signed by both the applicant and the producer. If the applicant, the owner of the policy, is someone other than the insured must also sign the application. So just remember, if an adult is ever buying insurance on another adult, the insured and the owner would both have to sign the application. If you're buying insurance on a child, of course the child does not sign anything. So the applicant must sign the application as well as the producer. Any changes made to the application must be initialed by the applicant. This helps protect the applicant from having changes made to which they are unaware. We ask on the application that the applicant make what are called representations. Representations are the truth to the best of your knowledge. If the producer should ask, as they're filling out the application, does this applicant have a heart condition, and the applicant said yes, but the producer marked no, the producer would have made a misrepresentation. Number 4 talks about the consequences of accepting an incomplete application. In the real world, insurance companies would never accept an incomplete application. They would always send back the application to the producer, who would then go back to the client's house and have them fill out the application in its entirety. But just in case, conceptually, if an application is ever accepted and something was left blank, under the doctrine of what is called waiver and estoppel, the insurance company has waived the right to contest a claim related to whatever was left blank. If on the application it has asked what is the applicant's occupation and it was left blank because the applicant is a professional race car driver and didn't think that the insurance company would like that, the insurance company goes forth, delivers a policy based upon an incomplete application. The applicant dies in a race car driving accident 1 year later. What's the insurance company going to have to do? Pay the claim because of the doctrine of waiver and estoppel. If they had wanted that to have been filled out, they should have asked for that to have been filled out. And since they didn't, they would be covered. Warranties and representations. We know that on the application, the applicant is asked to tell the truth to the best of your knowledge. So the truth to the best of your knowledge is called a representation. Do you have a heart condition? Truth to the best of your knowledge. No, I don't. Do you have cancer? Not that I know of. What else is there is called a warranty. A warranty is a guarantee of truth. Can anybody guarantee their health? No. So on the application, we only ask for life and health insurance that the applicant make representations. Now, if they should lie on the application, they would be making what's called a misrepresentation, which, if discovered during the first 2 years of the policy, may void the policy. May void the policy under the incontestability clause. So incontestability lasts for 2 years. Whether or not they can use what was found on the application has to do with the entire contract clause. Was the application attached to the policy? If so, then they can use that misrepresentation and void the policy. There would be no coverage if they had died during those first 2 years related to whatever they had lied about. Do we ever ask for warranties in life and health insurance? Never. We do not. Nobody can guarantee their health. Can you guarantee you don't have a heart condition? Of course not. Concealment would be failure to disclose a material fact. Fraud is intent to deceive. Life insurance policies are incontestable after 2 years, even for fraud. So if somebody lies on purpose on their application, The application is attached to the policy. 2 years have gone by. After 2 years, they're covered. I like to say liars pray for 2 years, and then they're covered. It's kind of a terrible story, but it's true. I suppose the insurance company should have figured out that they lied. After 2 years, if they didn't figure out that they lied, the person will have in force life insurance. Fraud. Intent to deceive. If somebody forgot to mention something because they forgot all about it, does that sound like fraud? No. The test will be as obvious as it can about this person purposefully did not disclose or said that they had a much less hazardous occupation. Those both would be instances of fraud. Collecting initial premiums and issuing conditional receipts. Now, every insurance company has different rules about whether or not you will be able to issue what's called a conditional receipt. So what we're talking about for purposes of this test is very basic, very generic, using basic underwriting guidelines. As the producer, you are the frontline underwriter. As the insurance agent, you go to the client's house and you are the one who meets them. You assess the risk. So you feel like this client seems to be a pretty good risk. So you take their application, and on the application, typically at the bottom of the application, is something that you can tear off called the conditional receipt. You would never give out the conditional receipt without taking from the client their premium. It is, after all, a receipt for the premium. So the client seems like a pretty good risk. They're young, they're healthy, they don't drink a lot, they don't smoke, they don't have any heart conditions that they know of. So you take their application, you take their first premium payment, and you tear off from the bottom what's called a conditional receipt. And it's just that, it's a receipt for their premiums. And the best thing that you could say to your client is that they are now conditionally covered. Notice, that does not say that they're guaranteed to be covered. It does not say they're unconditionally covered. It says that they are conditionally covered. They are covered when the conditions are satisfied. Covered when the conditions are satisfied. And that's all it says. It says the date, of course, the date that you take the application, what is the insured's name, what is the face amount of life insurance that they're purchasing, and you, the producer, will sign it. I'm Susie, I sign it. It's my job as the producer, as the agent, to explain to my client what their conditions are. So there's a couple of circumstances, a couple of conditions that they could have that we need to feel comfortable with. So we know that we take their premium. We would never give out a conditional receipt without the premium. Let me ask, what if the check bounces? Will there be any coverage ever? No, of course not. So they have to give you a valid check. So the test question says something like this. On 6/1, the application was taken, the premium was paid, and a conditional receipt was given. There are no conditions to satisfy. It says that in the test question. On 7/15, the underwriter issues a policy. Question is, with an effective date of what? Whenever it says that there are no conditions to satisfy, effective as of date of application. The only way, however, to get to an effective date that is of the date of application is if it says in that test question that there are no conditions to satisfy. Typically, this is done with very young children. How else might they ask it? This time, same dates, 6/1 application taken, premium paid, conditional receipt was given. This time it says that on 6/20, the applicant goes to the doctor and passes a physical. 7/15, the underwriter issues a policy. When do you think it's effective in this story? When were the conditions met? As of 6/20, policy effective date. I know I didn't say that that was a condition, but it's implied. Whenever it says goes to the doctor and passes a physical, that is the implied condition. So if the applicant had died on 6/15, well then obviously no coverage because they wouldn't have fulfilled their conditions. What if they had died on 6/25? Would they have had coverage? Yes, they would have. Do you ever give out a conditional receipt without taking a premium payment? Never. You would never do that. So this is some stories about how it could work with a conditional receipt. Anytime you give one out, the best thing to say to your client is that they are covered when the conditions are satisfied. They are conditionally covered. Not everybody seems to be such a good risk, however, so that there is another way that we can do this. We can do what is called COD submittal application, which stands for collect on delivery. So if this person doesn't seem like such a good risk, maybe they have had a heart transplant, and as the frontline underwriter, you really don't know how to assess the risk. So you are not going to take their money. You are only going to take this applicant's application. You're going to send it without any money attached to your underwriter, the person whose job it is to professionally assess the risk. So the test question says that on 6/1 application taken. Now, no money has changed hands at all. No conditional receipt was given. The underwriter assesses the risk, says, yep, this person's going to have to pay a lot in premiums, and issues a policy. But remember, what we're doing here is called COD, submittal application, which stands for, once again, collect on delivery. So under COD submittal application, the policy is issued on 7/10, but we have to actually go to the client's house. In person is always recommended versus mailing anything. You go to the client's house and you must get two things. First off, of course, is the money. So you ask that they pay this premium. The second thing that they need to give you is what is called a statement of good health. Because time has elapsed here. Under COD submittal application, when you go back with the policy in your hand to your client, you must get their premium payments and a statement of good health. If you go back to the client's house on 7/20 and the wife answers the door, it's a policy written on the husband, and she says, oh, you just missed him. He's down the street at the hospital. He had another heart attack. What should you do? Turn around and run, right? No, just stop. Tell her you can't take any premiums the way that it is. You have to call your underwriter, have the risk professionally assessed once again. Do not take their money. Do not loan them any money. Stop, because the way that it was underwritten is now no longer valid. So if you can get their premiums and a statement of good health attesting that their health is the same as it was as of date of application, when is the policy effective in this story? On 7/20. So policy effective date, 7/20. And that is COD, submittal application. We never use any binders in life and health insurance. Binders is a property and casualty concept, so there is no binders. Underwriting. Insurable interest is an important concept that we have to understand. Think about it. Let's just say you could buy insurance on anybody. Who would you buy insurance on? Well, I know who I might buy insurance on. Professional motocross racers and race car drivers. Yeah, they seem like good risks. Anyone who's going to die today. There's a hospital nearby, isn't there? But you can't. That would be adverse selection, buying insurance on these poor risks. You have to have, in order to buy insurance on someone, what is called insurable interest. Insurable interest in life and health